Trump's push to lay off half of the IRS would cost the government $350 billion over 10 years in lost revenue from tax evasion. Some audits of big companies are being closed as we speak.
Last Week in Southern Labor is a segment that we do every week where we take a look at what workers in the U.S. South and the American colonies were up to. Here's what they were up to from March 7th to the 14th. In new union campaigns, 5 workers at Titan Truck and Equipment in Overland, Missouri, filed a petition to hold a union election with the International Union of Operating Engineers, IUOE, Local 513. 3 workers at HHS Government Services, LLC, in Fort Eustis, Virginia, filed a petition to hold a union election with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, IBEW District 4. 18 workers at UFCW Local 1996 in Sewanee, Georgia, filed a petition to hold a union election themselves with the Federation of Agents and International Representatives, FAIR. 24 workers at New Orleans Regional Transit Authority in New Orleans, Louisiana, filed a petition to hold a union election with the Teamsters Local 270. 51 workers at Nelson Tree Service in Pikeville, Kentucky, filed a petition to hold a union election with IBEW Local 369. 10 workers at Imperial in Joplin, Missouri, filed a petition to hold a union election with the Teamsters Local 823. And 14 workers at Newbold Services in London, Arkansas, filed a petition to hold a union election with the Laborers International Union of North America, LIUNA, Local 360. In election results, 1 worker at AGL Services Company in Atlanta, Georgia, voted 1-0 in favor of unionization with IBEW Local 1997. Folks, IBEW had a pretty good week this week in election results. 13 workers at Appalachian Power in Bluefield, West Virginia, voted 10-1 in favor of unionization with IBEW Local 978. 34 workers at ADT in Maryland Heights, Missouri, voted 4-23 in favor of decertifying IBEW Local 1. That was the standout. Not good for IBEW, but we got some more good news for IBEW, where 18 workers at AEP Texas in Aransas Pass, Texas, voted 15-3 in favor of unionization with IBEW Local 738. 18 workers at Starbucks in Tampa, Florida, voted 11-2 in favor of unionization with Starbucks Workers United, as did another location in St. Louis, Missouri, 11-4, but 17 workers at a location in Louisville, Kentucky, voted 6-9 against unionization. 13 workers at Public Television 19 in Kansas City, Missouri, voted 0-8 in favor of decertifying the National Association of Broadcast Employees and Technicians, NABET-CWA, as their union. 24 workers at Johnson Controls Fire Protection in North Little Rock, Arkansas, voted 2-22 against unionization with the UA's Road Sprinkler Fitters Local 669. And 30 workers at Georgia Power in Atlanta, Georgia, voted 15-8 in favor of unionization with the IBEW Local 84. In strikes and bargaining updates, bus drivers in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, unionized with the Amalgamated Transit Union, ATU Local 1546, ended their strike against the Capital Area Transit System in the city last week after the city agreed to withdraw their illegal imposition of a contract on the workers and go to arbitration. The strike lasted 6 days. Bus drivers in Mobile, Alabama, unionized with ATU Local 770, engaged in a one-day sick out against the company's against the city's private transit company, Wave, to attend a city council meeting and protest the city's bad faith bargaining, or the company's bad faith bargaining. Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate. International Alliance of Theatrical and Stage Employees, IATSE, Local 492, which covers Tennessee, Kentucky, and northern Mississippi, are striking a Memphis venue, which is now trying to bring in scabs, per a report from a 492 member. Fairfax education unions in Virginia continue to fight a budget from the County Board of Supervisors that would underfund the contract that they won with the Board of Supervisors by $150 million. UE Local 150, representing public sector workers in North Carolina, is opposing a plan to raise health insurance premiums. In political and legislative updates, both houses of the Kentucky legislature passed a bill to weaken workplace safety rules in the state, although it did include an amendment to make it not quite as bad, although it is still bad. It now heads to Governor Andy Beshear to sign. He has not said what he will do. The Mississippi Senate passed a bill to study replacing state government jobs with AI. It now heads to the House. In better news out of that state, though, both houses of the legislature passed paid parental leave for state employees, although not teachers. With the House passing it 118-0, it now heads to the governor for signature. Efforts continue in Missouri to overturn a ballot initiative that would raise the minimum wage and institute paid sick leave. The House passed a bill that would repeal the initiatives tying the minimum wage to inflation and overturn the sick leave portion of the initiative entirely. It needs to be approved one more time in the House before heading to the Senate. Alabama Democrats are introducing legislation to maintain their overtime tax cut in the state, although the Economic Policy Institute points out that these policies are ripe for abuse, further complicate the tax code, and encourage excessive hours of work and exert downward pressure on base wages. In good news for federal workers, 2 federal judges now have ordered the reinstatement of illegally fired probationary employees at the VA, Agriculture, Interior, Energy, Defense, Commerce, Education, HHS, HUD, Homeland Security, Labor, Transportation, EPA, USAID, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and the Treasury Departments. In his ruling, one of the judges called the government's arguments a sham and lies. In good news for private sector workers, Gwen Wilcox is now back at work as a member of the National Labor Relations Board after she was illegally fired by President Donald Trump. In bad news for federal workers, Postmaster General DeJoy supposedly has inked a deal with DOGE to cut 10,000 jobs at the post office. Postal unions are opposed. The budget lab at Yale determined that Trump's push to lay off half of the IRS would cost the government $350 billion over 10 years in lost revenue from tax evasion. Some audits of big companies are likely being closed as we speak. Congress passed a budget last week with the help of 10 Democratic senators who said in large part they were doing this to support federal workers, despite the fact that federal worker unions opposed the continuing resolution, specifically because it would allow the illegality of DOGE and co. to continue unchecked. In internal union affairs, the Reform Caucus within IATSE, the Caucus of Rank-and-File Entertainment Workers, CREW, has released a slate of resolutions that they are taking to the 2025 Quadrennial Convention of the International Union, all aimed at giving more power to rank-and-file members. Chief among the resolutions being the implementation of one member, one vote for leadership positions. That's it for us this week. If we missed something, let us know at tvlr.fm/contact.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.